Hey, good Tuesday morning, my friends. I'm Live Chief Meteorologist Mark Torregrossa here with the MLive Morning Weather Update. Hit share if you could. We'd appreciate that very much. We're going to talk about still some fairly cold weather for late March. We'll get through it. We have quite a bit of warmer weather depending on where you're at. And remember, this is the time of the year where we're obviously always surrounded by the Great Lakes, Lake Michigan, Lake Huron, Lake Superior. Lake Erie influences our weather to a small degree. On a southeast wind, when it should warm up on a southeast wind, it can bring colder air into Ann Arbor and the Detroit area. But point is, if the wind shifts, we get these what I call backdoor cold fronts. They come in from the north, basically created by the Great Lakes, and then they shift the wind to the northeast, and it can be quite a bit cooler north of that boundary versus south of that boundary. So let's get on into it and show you what's going on. Fairly quiet for this time of the year, and still some snow falling around, Petoskey, tip of the mitt, up through the eastern part of the UP, but otherwise the rest of lower Michigan is dry, and even some of us have a little bit of sunshine there. So here we go on the radar forecast. And again, snow showers around the Traverse City area, northeast. Can even drift down into the Saginaw Bay City Midland area, but nothing significant. These are just snow showers that in the air. In the far northwest, you might see another inch or so on the grass. Now, here's the heart of meteorology, the mid-levels of the atmosphere and the forecast out into the future. And so I just want to show this to you. This is right now. Note where we're at in Michigan. We're in this northwesterly flow. Just kind of note the colors, green, and that's doesn't really have any color significance, but it depicts a certain height in the atmosphere for this kind of flow. And watch what happens as we go toward Thursday and Fridays. So let's go into Friday. Look at the change in the upper atmosphere. Now, flow out of the northwest, out of Canada. Friday, flow out of the southwest up into the plains and toward us. So that's how we get the warmer temperatures. Now we go into the weekend, and a wave comes through. That's a storm system. Hey, good morning, Casey Anderson. Good morning, Carmelita Tiffany. Thanks for joining me from lovely Ludington. Yes, Ludington is a hidden gem. I talk to a lot of people that live in Ludington. They say, shh, don't tell anybody. So next week, not so much of a cold flow. And then we go into next weekend, and look, we continue to see this idea occasionally from this model. It's a good model, and when it keeps showing it occasionally every other day or every other run, we kind of start to believe it, in that a ridge blows up, a hot ridge for this time of the year blows up in the southeast part of the U.S. and puts us into a deep southwesterly flow, which would be a very spring-like storm system. And I do have to mention that we always at this time of the year get these cutoff storm systems. It's a very standard kind of weather feature. As a storm comes toward the Great Lakes are cold, pocket of cold builds, and then you get this cutoff storm system. And it meanders around for a couple of days, and we go, oh, how come we can't just head right into summer? It's because of that. Good morning, Carl Yo. So I wanted to show you what is normal. It's hard to keep track at this time of the year. March, nothing is normal or average, because it's just an average of a lot of variances in temperatures. You can be 60 one day, 30 the next, back to 70. So what is normal? Ann Arbor, Detroit, average, your last 30 years on today has averaged 49 degrees. It'd be interesting actually to see the spread over the last 30 years. I would imagine that March has a bigger spread that turns into an average, and it just means there's a lot of volatility. Good morning, Linda Thompson. 47 Grand Rapids average. You go north to Traverse City, average high now is 43. So all of us should, on average, make it well above freezing at this time of the year. Now, here's the big picture on the storm systems. Our next storm system this weekend, we'll look at it a little closer in a minute here, but today we'll call it dry, just some snow showers. Thursday, definitely dry. Friday, the winds return to the south-southwest, and the area of precipitation starts to develop. Now, don't despair. This model is showing a freezing rain band. It's possible. It looks like it would be in the UP, far northern lower. Again, we'll look at it a little closer. Now we're going into Sunday, and the storm is kind of gelling over us, moving on to the east, and it shows just a short period of snow on the backside of the storm system. Still very easy to do with snow showers for a couple of hours. Into next week, the next storm after that projected to pull up well to our west next weekend. Remember, I showed you the ridge in the southeast in the upper air, and the upper air makes the surface. So there's your powerful spring storm system. And watch out, because we're starting to get into the severe weather season time of the year. That's pretty far out. We won't worry about it just yet. Now, here's that same thing, a little closer of a look. So this is today. We'll call it snow showers in the northeast into the Saginaw Bay City and Thumb area. Otherwise, Ann Arbor, Detroit, Grand Rapids, Lansing, you're all dry. Dry Thursday. And then here's Friday. Friday afternoon into evening, rain develops across northern lower Michigan, maybe freezing rain in parts of the UP, maybe some rain showers developing in far southern lower. There's Saturday morning. And that could be quite a temperature contrast. It could be near 70 in the south, and we could have freezing rain in the far north. And then Saturday night into Sunday gets pretty showery and off to the east. So I think this is pretty incredible. I'm going to write about this for those folks not watching the live. The temperature contrast, and again, it's based on the fact that warm air comes from the south and it hits the cold air that builds over the Great Lakes. So today we are chilly. Ann Arbor, you're only in the mid 40s, and Kalamazoo also. It's better than below freezing like a lot of places yesterday. In the north, you're still cold. Tomorrow is still stubbornly chilly with 40s up to Saginaw Bay City, Midland, 40 to Grand Rapids. Isn't it funny how 40 feels like you could wear shorts February 1st, and 40 right now feels like the coldest day of winter? Now look at Thursday. Back to the 50s, 40s in northern lower Michigan. Almost 60 in the southeast. Look at Friday. Look at the temperature contrast. Would you like to have my job on Friday and Saturday? I'll let you fill in if you want. So in the southerly flow, places could get 60s to maybe near 70, and then north of that front where the precipitation is occurring, it just goes nowhere, and it's bone-chilling 40s and 30s. Look at Saturday. You can tell where the front is, can't you? You can tell where the northeast wind is, and it's very common for it to sneak around Saginaw Bay, keep Bay City, Saginaw, the Thumb, Midland a lot colder than, say, Flint and Lansing and Ann Arbor. Sunday, if the front works its way north, as the storm pulls everything north, then you're looking at still mild temperatures south of the front. After that, we may cool down for a few days. Now we're out to Thursday, April 3rd, April 4th, April 5th, April 6th. Doesn't look, you're like, well, yesterday you showed me all red maps. I also preface that it's up and down. It's still up and down, but the momentum is toward up. And bear in mind also that this model, the European model, well, it's great. We know all of the strengths and the weaknesses of all these models. And the weakness of the European model is over Eastern North America, for whatever reason, it holds on to cold out into the future. It's got a cold bias into the future. So when you see something like this 10, 15 days out, I wouldn't believe it. But what we do believe, and remember, this is an important concept. This is something I don't sugarcoat it for you. I give you the meteorology. This is an important concept. So we look at the European model. It's a good model. We use what we call the deterministic output. That is the single best starting circumstances, and it gives us a really good forecast for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days out. After that, we like to go to what we call the ensemble mode, and that is where they tweak the European model and run it 51 different times with different little tweaks, maybe different set of equations, things like that, and then they average all 51 of those tweaks. So out into the distance, if 7, 8, 9, 10 days shows some sort of really definitive trend, either cold or warm or wet or something, we believe it because the average of 51 outputs has shown that. So where I'm going with this is we need to work on the drought. We've been kind of what looked like a stormy pattern, but it really hasn't done a whole lot as far as moisture amounts. So this is actually the ensemble total precip out to 16 days. So let's go through the weekend storm. Let's go through Saturday, and you can see very wet northern half of lower Michigan and UP, not much through Saturday night in the southern half of lower Michigan. And then as we go into Sunday, the showers kind of creep southward, and we go to Monday morning, and the average shows that all of us will have had at least an inch of rain. That will be actually a nice needed spring rain. And then as we go out 16 days, the averages show that we should have maybe somewhere around 2 inches of rain over the next couple of weeks. And that would be a little bit heavier than normal, but not extreme. And the nice thing is, we need it. Farmers are going to start to think about planting sugar beets, and they're kind of in a catch-22. They don't want to go into the growing season in drought, because if you stop getting rain, then the crops really hurt. But at the same time, during planting season, I know hundreds of farmers, and during planting season, they'd love to just see a 1/4 inch of rain every 5 days or so, just for the seeds. But unfortunately, Mother Nature doesn't let us plan the weather, or I guess I should say, fortunately. So there you have it. Cold today, not much going on in precipitation, no travel problems. You might find a little bit of snow in the far northwest, lower Michigan. Still chilly tomorrow. Then we start to rebound Thursday, and by Friday, the southern half of the state may be vastly different than the northern half of the state. Thanks for joining me on the MLive Morning Weather Update. I'm MLive Chief Meteorologist Mark Torregrossa. Have yourselves a great day. Please share. And remember, you can always go to mlive.com/weather. First stop, mlive.com for all of the state news from the state's largest local news site. Take care.